And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fins Talk post-game show. The Miami Dolphins literally run over the New York Jets 34-10 to improve to 6-7. He was so excited to do that, and it happened. All right, welcome to this fun show. Should be a fun show, an entertaining game by the Miami Dolphins. Defense, the running game, Jalen Wright, his first 100-yard game of the season. Ollie Gordon with a touchdown. Devon Achane with 90-some-odd yards. Have to love it. Before we get into it, let's welcome, of course, Finn Sammy of Finn's TV. Good evening, sir. And Finn Stanza of FTSN. What's up, my brother?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you both doing? Sammy, haven't seen you in a few hours. How you doing?
Been better.
Just teasing you, brother. He was disappointed that Miami won. He wasn't really happy. He doesn't want to.
That's not true. Sammy always wants us to win.
Yeah. Oh man, but 34-10. My goodness, it was if a first drive, almost first quarter, couldn't go any better. That was probably the best first quarter by the Miami Dolphins in a very long time.
That's first drive.
First drive for sure. But I mean, my goodness, everything you needed to. We're going to get into all of that. But before we do, Evan, how are you? You did the Fins Faithful Pod post-game show, so I know you've spoke already. But how are you doing? And, man, your thoughts on this game very quick.
Okay, before I get into the game, which is phenomenal, I just want to bring something out there that something has to be done in the NFL. We all we have our survivor pool, we have our pick 'em through Fins TV. But if anyone did not have a chance, and Bobby, you need to go watch this. Sammy, you need to go watch this. There was a game between the Broncos and the Raiders. There were 16 seconds left. It was 24-14. The quarterback of the Raiders gets outside the pocket, throws the ball, and the guy catches it. There should be no time on the clock left. They're going to run down the clock. Game over. The refs call Brandon Jones, former Miami Dolphins lore, who goes on top of the player and calls it unsportsmanlike delay a game type of penalty. Stops the clock with 4 seconds left. Lo and behold, Pete Carroll decides to kick a field goal. Final score, 24-17. Bobby, you know what the over-under was in the game? 7.5. Now explain to me, how is it that a game, 24-14, a guy falls on the guy, you stop the clock, the game is over, but the refs stop the clock. And then Pete Carroll, no, we're just not going to, let's just end the game. No, let's go kick the field goal. And it's too weird, guys. It happened with Kevin Stefanski last week, where when the over-under was one or 2 weeks ago, where he's punting the ball from the 25-yard line instead of kicking the field goal, and that killed the over-under. The one thing about betting in football, it's becoming way, way, way too, and I'm not a big better with spread, but something's off about this. It's really something is off, and they need to check into this. In terms of the actual game, positive Evan actually worked today, and I was very proud of my team in the first quarter. I wish I didn't. The second and third quarter were not so appetizing. The fourth quarter was fantastic. So, Bobby, I'm sure you like sandwiches just like I do. Sammy, I'm sure you like a good sandwich. Unfortunately, The 2 pieces of bread were fresh from the bakery, but the middle inside was not very tasty. The cheese was a little, and it was Spam, not so good pastrami. I'm telling you, that's what the game was. And guys, I don't know about you, I was very proud of the Miami Dolphins, and I'll let Sammy go. For 50% of the game, they did exactly what we've all been clamoring them for do, and then exactly what we don't want them to be doing. What has always been my fear with the Miami Dolphins about trying to make Tua look better than what he is, reared its ugly head. Remember, he was 8 for 8, and then he finished the game 5 for 13. There's a reason why. But today, a win is a win. Happy they won. Didn't like certain parts of the game because they kept them in the game. But then they did their job, went back to what works, and Nice victory by the Dolphins today.
That would be a fun segment.
That's a lot too.
I could do it.
On the game,
we talk so much about what we expected. I don't know if I'm frozen or not, but what we expected the Dolphins to do, and what we expect Ryan McDaniel to do to basically save his job. And during the last 4 games, the Dolphins had done exactly what we expected them to do. They find a way to run the ball. They find a way to stop the run. They stop the stupid penalties. That stop the stupid decisions. So, what more can we ask for? Basically, they have won all 4 games. They've even beat the Bills. So, we have to wait and see if next week, Monday night, cold weather against Aaron Rodgers, who usually plays very well against the Dolphins can continue what they're doing. But so far, what we wanted the Dolphins to do, they have done. So, it wasn't a huge win. Who would know what would have happened if Taylor would have played that game? Or maybe we'll say a different story. But we're playing against a quarterback that probably is not going to be in the NFL next year. Who knows? But it was a win, so I'm very happy. And again, Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins have done everything we asked for in the last 4 games, and they found a way to win the game, Evan. So we can criticize Mike McDaniel all we want, and I'll be the first to do it as soon as he screws up. He did some couple of stupid decisions today. That pass again, that lateral. Why not run the ball? That for me, that was a touchdown. We were safe. We were safe with that one. That screen pass, you're muted, brother. That screen pass, that was a pick 6. The quickest pick 6 in the history of the NFL would have been. That would have been
both plays on either side. Those slants. Those plays, by the way, want to know why they were awful today? Because the player that he throws those balls to was not on the field. Those are Devon Achane plays. Yes. And there's zero chemistry with Jalen Wright. And who's the other one he threw it to? I don't think it was Dulcich. I think it was Dulcich or it was Audie Gordon. But of the throws that he threw on either slant that close to the goal line,
I see.
I don't know if he switched his shirt. Fantastic. But I don't know if you happen to notice the game.
It's another squash in the kind of night.
I don't know if you happen to notice today. Did you happen to watch? It was a phenomenal football game between the Bears and the Packers. But Caleb Williams threw a ball that he had no business throwing at the end of the game that was easily caught and underthrown. Tua is not good when he's standing still. He has to step into his throws, and all those were very poorly planned plays. So you mentioned about Mike McDaniel. McDaniel called a great game today until he decided to say Tua throw the ball. Tua should not be throwing the ball near the goal line. I'm sorry. Tua should not be throwing into coverage. And now we talked about on Finn Faithful, the separation's not as good. But every time he got the ball to Waddle, or he got the ball to Greg Dulcich, or he got those plays, you did not see anything from Malik struggle today. You did not see Cedric Wilson. You did not see much of Alec Ingold. Ollie Gordon, he had trouble throwing the ball to. Tua's not performing. We'll talk about it, but Tua's not performing well as a quarterback. Go look at his stat line the last 4 games. And of the last 4 games, by the way, from the Bills to the Commanders, to the Jets, and what was the previous win? What's the other win? I'm going to blank.
Bills?
The Bills, the Saints, the Commanders, yeah. This is his worst game, actually, passing-wise. He had a higher passer rating, but he had 120-something yards. So, for me, overall, the win is great, but it was too close at the beginning. Like, the fact that we have 21-0 and only score 3 points over the next 2 quarters is not acceptable from a Mike McDaniel run offense. Had he left it, you saw what Jalen Wright did in the 4th quarter. So for me, it was a great game over there. But Bobby, you'll get into it, and I want you to premise this. What was the number one thing we get frustrated with him? Gets away from what works. Offensive linemen take poor penalties take these illegal shift penalties and take these offside penalties when they're trying to throw the ball. And if you notice, every time he took a timeout, they couldn't get the play called. So with the wins, like those little things that do matter because they add up, were still things that he had to do. And unfortunately, funny enough, he's doing it against Marcus Mariota, Taylor Shaw, Bradley Cooper, whatever his name is. And the only one he did it great against was Josh Allen. In the last 3, he's played mediocre quarterback. So you play who you play. But at the same time, kudos to Mike McDaniel. And by the way, his glasses game today, kudos to him. His shade game, excellent today. He didn't look like a buffoon today. He was very hip today, and he was into it. But by the way, kudos, and we'll talk about the defense, but we're just talking about the game right now. There is a lot to learn from this game. That's what I like about it, Bobby, about today's game. As much as this was a dominating win for the Dolphins, there's a lot you learned from the special teams, from the offense and the defense. Like, this is a videotape game for Mike McDaniel that he better prepare himself for a week from now, because there's a lot he has to realize that he needs to throw out the window and say, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't keep going back to the same thing that doesn't work. There are certain things that prove that work today. Right? So.
Sorry, excuse me. No, you're right on. And I think, and we are celebrating a victory, right?
I mean, wear a shirt. I was with Bobby when I bought this. The infamous shirt about you're only happy if you beat the Jets, the Patriots, and the Bills.
There you go.
Shirt. Okay, this is a Caneswear shirt. Thank you.
Shout out to Caneswear.
Okay, shout out to Caneswear.
You love Dolphins, Hurricanes, Marlins, Heat, Inter Miami. Congratulations to Inter Miami. Love any of that. You want to get some cool merch, go to caneswear.com. Or if you're in near South Florida, Davie, Florida, 2655 South University Drive. Brett and the crew kill it over there. And they're live right now. If you want to talk about some Hurricanes or kind of catch up on what's going on with the Miami Hurricanes, they're live on FTSN as well. The one thing I'm going to note, first off, I don't want to go too crazy into the critical stuff, the negative things. We will get into every little thing. But what I will say, though, to just add to your point, the one thing I did notice is that the first drive, the first couple of drives, the first quarter, Miami had a great game plan. I mean, it was working. Run the ball, short, intermediate passes, nothing crazy. Get the ball out quick. But it seemed like every time in the second half or the second quarter, third quarter, it seemed like every time they went to pass the ball, something was going wrong. It's like, so much so that eventually it was 24-7, and then it's like, okay, wait a second. You see these little bit of a hiccups, even though it was special teams that gave up that touchdown, and defense played great today, but still there was a lot of times where it seemed like, almost an interception. Oh, almost a mistake here. And it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to knock too hard on him, but it's like, get the ball out of Tua's hands. Don't leave it to him to make a play. He's not the guy. Stop. All respect. I'm happy. I'm happy with the win. And again, you look, I hope today shows, I think 239 rushing yards with the running game. Jalen Wright leading it with 107 with 24 carries. Devon Achane had 7 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Wright also a touchdown. Ollie Gordon, 17 yards off 5 carries with a touchdown. And of course, you got to add Jalen Waddle with 21 yards and so forth. That's a winning formula. That shows you that you could win football. And I know it's the Jets, but it's still this is a game that the Dolphins would not have. They would have gave it away early on in the season. They look what happened with Carolina. They didn't do it this time. They put their foots on the throats of the Jets. They held it there until they couldn't breathe anymore, and they finished the game and got to 6-7, 4 wins in a row. I hope McDaniel sees this and says, okay, I got that. Like when he noticed that Tyreek, Tua, and Jalen Waddle was a monster offense where he Mozart and was like, okay, Tyreek's a weapon, man. We got to keep getting him out. Go. That's not that Miami Dolphins anymore. This should be a run-first football team. Today showed it. Like, they could not stop Devon Achane when he had the ball. I mean, I was like watching him run, and he's slipping, sliding, and in the middle and around the ground and always in control. It was ridiculous. I'm like, this dude is sick, And then Jalen Wright goes in there and has a good game for himself, which is really cool to see. Shout out to Jalen Wright, a guy who could not get on the opening day roster, couldn't find a starting spot, couldn't even get into rotation, was on the sidelines, was a healthy scratch. Everybody's wondering what's going to happen to him. Is he going to get traded? Is he a bust? And then today he comes in and has himself a ball game.
He grounds and pounds that guy. Oh boy. He hits you, it hurts. He hits you.
I'll tell you what. He's not a big back, but he plays angry.
He bruises.
Yeah. He plays angry, and that's what's really cool to see. And I'm going to tell you, again, I will stick with my thing. And it's not to be negative, but do I think Miami can run the table? No, because of some of the stuff we saw today that could bite him in the ass later. But that alone should leave fans hopeful. Looking at that running attack, watching what that defense is doing now, that should make people very excited about the rest of the season, about what they could do if they follow that formula, but also what you could build upon after the season, in this offseason, when you go, okay, that worked. What can we do to build upon that? What can we do to add to that? Because before, people were like, oh, we still need to add this type of back. We need to add this guy and that guy and this guy. Dude, you see what your running game can do. Keep doing that. Don't outsmart yourself, which sometimes our team does, which Coach McDaniel does. It happens. You go, oh, well, all that's working. Now let's surprise him and let's go for a 15-yard, 20-yard out. And, oh, crap, it's almost intercepted. Never, roll it back. No, don't outsmart yourself. Go with what works. Tua can't do that anymore. It's just what it is. Cold weather or not, he did enough. Got a touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 5 of 50, a touchdown. You know, this game was a recipe for what could work in the future. And again, you know, and I'm talking about not just this season, but in the future, even when you go find another quarterback, because again, I stand by it. The Dolphins absolutely need to be in a market for a quarterback in the offseason. They need to find a guy who could push or replace Tua next season. If you want a legitimate chance at having a successful football team, he can't be your starter. You just can't. I mean, and today, every time they put the game on, not the game on it because there wasn't, they were ahead. Every time they said, okay, make a play, it seemed like, you know, he was going to give it away. You know, was going to make a mental mistake, putting in spots where it didn't need to be.
Did you happen to notice? Yeah, but Bobby, did you happen to notice, though, I want to your point, who wasn't there when he started to play poorly?
Who?
The moment through all his bad plays.
After Achin.
No chemistry with any other guy.
Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I say. But it felt like every time they went away from the running game, every time they went after, even especially after Achin, but every time they went away from the running game in general, it felt like it was like, okay, a mistake's about to happen. It felt like that, and it was a point where it was like, there's no way the Jets could come back. I will say, and look, talk a lot about the running game, which we should, 230 some odd yards, I think.
239.
Thank you, 239. But the defense, shout out to them, 3 interceptions today, forced fumble at one point. I don't think that was recovered, but shout out to the Miami Dolphins defense for what they've done the last few weeks, but what they did today, they held the Jets to no touchdowns. Tyrod Taylor was a non-factor. Breece Hall, a non-factor. I don't know what they even finished with, but to me, they felt like a non-factor. Let me get up here for a second, see if I could find the Jets numbers.
Well, Brady Cook came in. I'll bring it up.
Look at that. Brady Cook, 163,
163.
Two interceptions. Tyrod Taylor was knocked out of the game, 1 INT. Breece Hall held to 43 yards. Mason Taylor fumbled. What the hell was, Dotson with that interception recovery, which was through his legs, was amazing. So shout out to the Dolphins defense. We talked about it before the game. With each win, the way the Dolphins are winning, yes, that allows McDaniel or gives, he starts to really cool down the seat of Mike McDaniel's job status, at least with the ownership. But with each win, each win, heaven's face, each win, especially the way the Dolphins defense is playing, more and more likely Anthony Weaver is going to be looked at for head coaching jobs. So it's all working in their favor. Sammy, your thoughts on the Dolphins, not their defense, but what we were talking about with the running game, and every time it seemed like it went to Tua, that it looked like Miami's offense got uncomfortable when they were so comfortable with the lead.
The fact that they when Asian went out of the game and basically the offense changed completely. Thank God for for Wright because he ran hard. We were waiting like how many years for this moment because uh, it seems like he got chances, but he could not get in rhythm. But he was forced to get into rhythm when once Asian was out. So I'm very happy about that. But other than Waddle, who I said in the morning that he usually has very good games against the Jets, and he probably kind of had the most impactful. I don't know if it was the best stat game-driven game of the season for Waddle, but the most impactful for him for sure was today's game against the Jets. I don't think the Dolphins have great weapons, and again. Yes, I'm not defending Tua. The fact that Tua right now the physical tools are not there. You can see physically he's not the player he once was. I'm gonna say it so many times. He's not the same player. If you are moronic enough to say I was right, see Tua sucks, and you truly believe this is the same player if he was 2 years ago, that's on you, bro. I cannot. There's nothing I can tell you. That's what you truly believe, because Tua is not the same player he was 2 years ago. He's just not. Physically, he's not there. For me, it's not only the fact that he doesn't have Tyreek over there because right now he has a pretty great running game, but the physical tools for Tua are just not there. He's the strength is not there. He cannot escape the rush. If they rush him, he's gonna go down. If the pressure comes through the middle, he's gonna go down. No, he cannot escape the rush to save his life. It's just absurd the way the physical tools of Tua has diminished this season. But it is what it is. Right now, what really bothers me, if I think about it, I didn't think during the game. I think looking back after the game, I said if the Dolphins would have, when they had the weapons, when they had Tua with good enough, skills, had they used this template, the Dolphins would have been a completely different team. They would have relied on the running game. If the offensive line was built to run the ball, this team might be, in some kind of ways, more prepared to endure a December run than any of the teams years before, and those teams were way better. But they stop in the run, and they're running the ball, and that's what you need to do in December and January. So it's annoying because I would like to, when we have Tyreek and we have better weapons, to have this kind of game plan. But right now, Daniel's doing what he needs to do with the play that he has right now. He's being forced into it with Tyreek's injury and the fact that basically the offensive guys are not that good. Waddle, is okay, is good, but he's not the player we've set him to be.
Yep.
Waller, he comes out of the game. He's not playing great after the injury. He's just not. It is what it is. The offensive weapons are not great. The only reason why this team is succeeding is because they find a way to run the ball. That's it. That's the only thing they have. And it's I find it curious that other teams have not said, let's stop the run, let's put everybody in, let's try to stop A-Chain, and Tua, you have to beat us. Because if that happens, we're going down. If they find a way to stop A-Chain, Jalen Wright, Ollie Gordon, or whoever's running the ball, this team is not winning. We'll have to see what's happening in Pittsburgh. Because I really doubt Mike Tomlin is not going to say we have to stop the run, and they're probably going to find a way to do it.
I think those are all valid points. And there's no doubt with a team that seemed like it had a plethora of weapons, even if Tyreek, if Tyreek goes down, Miami still has this guy, that guy, this guy. You look at Miami's, offensive weapons now, and it's kind of like, all right. But still enough to put up respectable numbers or to win games.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt. You're absolutely right. And in regards of Tua, I would always say it. I was, I'm not like, I wanted one guy, I didn't want him during the draft, whatever, but, and whether you think he's a franchise guy or not a franchise guy, no one could ever say, oh, he's trash, respectfully, really, say he was garbage. And even say now, I told you so. I told you he was trash. No, it's not that you said it. It's that he's totally regressed. There's no doubt there's a physical regression. There's something that happened there. It's just what it is. And like you brought up a point, which is if Miami would have done this at the start of the season, would it be the whole other opposite of the best record, be a great record, whatever? Maybe not, because there's still a lot of flaws with this football team that is not the quarterback or the offense. However, yeah, I think they would have had a better record. I think they would have done better if they would have said, hey, we need to rely on the running game. We need to force it down people's throats and move forward. Now, you're right. Now, how do they adjust to Pittsburgh? They play Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. The weather, what's the weather going to be like? Are you going to have to rely on Tua a little more? Because maybe they're going to shut down that run game. It looks like Devon Achane will be fine for next week. But now you saw what Jalen Wright can do. You know what Ollie Gordon can do. Again, you look at Ollie's and be like, oh, that went that impressive. No, watch him run. Go watch him run. Imagine if you go ahead and let those three guys go at it. And I mean, attack the defense. You keep rotating him out. You line up H&M wide out. You move him around. You can win that game. If the defense, the revenge game for Minkah Fitzpatrick, I'm really at the point where I'm not worried about the defense right now. I'm feeling pretty good about our defense. Offense, I'm still concerned with just because the limitations right now of Tua Tagovailoa as at quarterback for Miami. I will say, yes, there was some head scratchers for some of the play calling, especially later. But I'll tell you, I really enjoyed the creativity of the play calling today. Getting Jalen Wright involved. Jalen Waddle involved. Getting Darren Waller involved in the run. Just different little gadget plays here and there that obviously keeps the defense on their toes, the opposing defense, but also protects the obvious flaws of your offense, which starts with the quarterback. If you have all these weapons that you can just toss them the ball or hand them the ball and they're making positive plays, that's going to help you not only protect your quarterback, but also net you positive yards enough to keep moving downfield, maybe get a field goal. Riley Patterson, easy short touchdown pass for Tua, like saying situation with Waddle. There's just those type of avenues. So I will say, in regards to McDaniel, I did enjoy the creativity I saw out of the play calling today, especially with the running game and the way they were able to do that. Evan, what did you think about McDaniel's play calling today overall?
What the play calling showed me was he's one of those guys who still tries to outsmart himself. And so, like I always tell you guys, there's you turn away and all of us, I'm sure nowadays, when our parents' generation, they had to look at a big map, right? And they had to figure out where they were going, or they had to have memory. All of us probably throw in Waze or Google Maps into our phones, and we go on or into our cars, and we just follow the GPS. The GPS said today, after the first quarter, run the ball and sprinkle in some throwing. The second quarter started, and the proof is in the pudding that there was 3 points scored in the second half. The Dolphins didn't get like a first down, did not convert a third down until like almost close to the end of the half, because Mike McDaniel was trying things with Tua. Darren Waller, whether it was Greg Dutledge, Darren Waller, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, he was throwing balls that should not have been thrown. There was no separation from the receivers, and some of the ones that were poorly decided on, that's on Tua. But the call of a passing play in those situations on a first down is not a Tua decision. That is a Mike McDaniel decision. And often you could see that they couldn't even get the play call in. That happened twice in the course of the game. So also, what's pretty clear, Bobby, and what should have been very clear to Mike McDaniel early on, is you remember how we all talk about how the offensive line always should be a focus. We have to focus on the trenches, What I learned today was the reason we think the trenches are so bad is actually Mike McDaniel's fault. Why? It's not the offensive line that's the problem. It's the pass blocking of the tight ends, the fullbacks, and the wide receivers. Ollie Gordon struggles. You saw how quickly Tua got sacked? That was an Ollie Gordon mistake. When they get Tua on that the Tua touchdown to Waddle where he got crushed, that was another block by either Ingold or Gordon or a tight end that missed it. It wasn't the line. It came from the outside. He has no time to throw. Tua. And I'm not putting on Tua, but he has no time to throw. But you happen to realize we were knocking Jonas Savaianaya, and I pronounced it properly, how poor he was at the beginning of the season, how poor he was in offensive line. Did you see him get to the second level today against those linebackers? Did you see Patrick Paul today? Bobby, the Ollie Gordon touchdown, it was basically Patrick Paul pushing 5 guys with Ollie Gordon into the end zone. I don't care what everyone was worried about Patrick Paul. Patrick Paul has not been a problem in any way, shape, or form. Do you see Aaron Brewer? We criticized Aaron Brewer for being the smallest center in the NFL. You know how good he is in the running game? Austin Jackson, you know how good he is in the running game? Jonas Savannah, phenomenal in the running game. All of them were great today. It was very clear. We're watching it, how much space these running backs got. Even like Jalen Wright was, yes, the way he was able to get extra space on those first downs. Remember, at one point they said Jalen Wright on 14 carries, he has 60-something yards. By the time he got to 17 carries, he was at 90 yards because the next 4 or 5 plays, he got first down after first down after first down after first down. Ollie Gordon, the throw that when he fumbled the ball, I'm proud of Mike McDaniel. He sat him, brought him back in, and then brought him back in the red zone situation. So they didn't sit Ollie Gordon for making one mistake. By the way, that was a low throw by Tua. That wasn't at his chest. That was at his knees. But overall, my number one problem with Mike McDaniel is the same things that bother me all the time. I believe he's getting better as a coach right now. I think what's holding him back is Tua. Because I always tell you guys, and I've said this before, and I think my point is really substantiated today, Mike McDaniel wants Tua to have a chance to prove that he is a good enough quarterback. And I don't think he's, by the way, Bobby, if Mike McDaniel, there's 2 things to me, and Sammy. If Mike McDaniel is a good head coach, you stick with what works, and you don't worry about everybody else. The team should not be focused on one player. There was zero reason to become a first down offense that punted. By the way, you know that when Tua had the ball as the key cog and you weren't running it as much, we punted 4 times in a row. But the times that we ran the ball consistently, that's when we had our most success. So that's where I'm frustrated with him, is that your team, you drafted an offensive line that is better and signed an offensive line that's better in the running game. You went to draft Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright. You didn't utilize them properly. You have Julian Hill, who's actually been a good blocker lately. Greg Dutledge is good in the check down areas that can help with blocking, and you didn't utilize them properly. So my only frustration, like I said, was that Mike McDaniel has 2 things. The second half, he went to Tua, and they always interview him coming out of the half. Even though it's the Jets, blah blah blah, you have to put your foot on the gas. But in the third quarter, you didn't adjust again. He never adjusts. How many times have we all heard him say to the reporter, "This is what we need to do in the third quarter," and they always crap the bed in the third quarter. And that's because Mike McDaniel's play calling, along with Tua's ineptitude at quarterback the last couple games, is the biggest problem. Devon Achane is a stud. Jalen Wright proved he's good. Greg Dutledge is a great find. Like, the offensive line did their job today. And the cracks today were mistakes by the quarterback and the head coach. In the end, it once again falls on 2 guys. Because the defense did their job. Greg Ackerman pulled a Danny Crossman today twice. Because, by the way, guys, that was one of the worst performing fake punts I've ever seen. How the guy almost dropped the ball when he threw it back and almost hit the ground. The Dolphins couldn't have one guy get there. Ethan Bonner had twice an opportunity to tackle the guy, and they went all the way downfield. So for me, overall, Mike McDaniel is improving as a head coach. The problem is that he's tied to this guy who he won't let go of. Bobby, you said it a couple weeks ago. He doesn't need to anymore. He's going to play without Tua. Remember, when he went to Tua, it took him 2 quarters to give up. He didn't do it after one drive. He did it in the second quarter. He did it in the third quarter. Until the fourth, where he knew the game was in hand, then he started running the ball again. Imagine, by the way, if it would have been, and I said this on April, imagine it would have been 13-0, not 21-0. If he would have done what he did, we could have potentially lost this football game. And the reason you got the 21 points was because of your running game. It wasn't because of your passing game. Who got you downfield? your running game. So I still don't understand why he thinks he's a pass first offensive team. Yes, to have explosive plays. Yes, you had Tyreek Hill. But if tomorrow I told you, Bobby, you have to go into the game in Pittsburgh right now with a healthy Devon Achane and no Jalen Waddle, or Jalen Waddle and no Devon Achane, what will you choose? Is it even a question? Who do you need more the rest of the season, Devon Achane or Jalen Waddle? Who do you need more?
Achane.
Exactly.
Not even a question, bro.
What? Because you want to know why? Because Devon Achane can also catch. That's also what I think. Remember, we used to always say that Sammy. We always used to say like Tua was, Tyreek was Tua's security blanket. It's Devon Achane, and it is not even close. The moment Devon Achane left, he lost. Like Tua lost. Like he didn't know what direction to go in. He got confused. It was almost like he was throwing right-handed. And by the way, if it wasn't for the fact that he was left-handed, Bobby, that was a backwards pass. The confusion for the ref is because he wasn't throwing like this. He was throwing like this. So you couldn't tell if it was really backwards. That was the only advantage Tua had on that throw. That he had no business throwing, by the way. That's on McDaniel for calling that play. That if he was a righty, that's a backwards pass. Because he was a lefty, it didn't look like a backwards pass. So I'm just concerned that Mike McDaniel is going to continue to do things. Like this guy's not Jordan Love. If you saw the game between Caleb Williams and Jordan Love, those guys can air it. Tua's not that guy. He's not that guy, so stop turning him into that guy. Stop forcing it anymore. Let your playmakers play. And then if the guy's wide open and you want to throw it to a spot, great. But if you can't, Tua cannot throw it cannot needle the ball anymore. The throw to Waddle that Waddle dropped, guys, that was on Tua. That wasn't on Waddle. It was an awful throw. The one to Waller, awful throw. He overthrew Waller again. How do you overthrow a 6-foot guy? 6'6" guy. So for me, Mike McDaniel, he gets an A for his overall performance, but he doesn't get an A+ because he keeps on relying on his quarterback, and that doesn't work anymore. He has to realize Tua's not the guy anymore. Stop pretending like he is.
I will just say, I think, again, I feel that is the case either way. But I will say there's not much you can do until the end of the season anyway. So he's your guy, and you don't want to limit your offense to just a running game. So he's going to have to ask Tua to pass it out. I would say though, just protect them by keeping it short and to the point. Don't try to do any kind of big creative plays. We got to throw it downfield because then you're putting your team at risk. Yes, but it is correct for those in the comments. Dylan, good to see you. Daniel, good to see you. Scorpion King or Scorpion Stings, Scorpion King, the Mummy. Dolphins need to win out. Bills, Chargers, Colts need losses. Absolutely, that is true. But at least the Miami is doing its job. 4 wins in a row. Now 6-7 on the year. I know he just got in here. He's doing it on the side too. I see him on the side of my eyeball. I see it there. Daniel, complete lunacy, ran ball 51 times. I think that's what you were saying there. Adrian in the house says he didn't get the memo that we're all wearing orange shirts. I didn't get it either until I saw them. And, DSG reminded me, so I had to go change my shirt.
I didn't complain about the coach. Oh my God. I told everybody, I'm going to repeat this again until I'm blue in the face, Daniel. I love you guys. I want Tua gone. I have no problem. Mike McDaniel back next year, give him a shot. If I had a choice tomorrow, Mike McDaniel on the sideline or Tua Tagovailoa as the quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa is the problem, not Mike McDaniel.
Whoa! Ralph, I'm coming home. Oh, did you hear that?
I am looking at the big picture.
Did you hear it? Did you hear it?
By the way,
Whoa!
I wish Daniel saw my text. I was defending everything. Why does Daniel show up 20 minutes into the show? 30 minutes into the show. I am not analyzing each play. I'm analyzing the whole concept. 127 yards from a quarterback, 21 plays. That's not average. Bobby, Sammy, go. Can you please explain to me how I'm not ripping the coach for doing what he did well? I'm ripping the coach for the fact that he almost cost us the football game because he put the ball into his hands. Am I the only one who thinks this? Or does every Dolphins fan that was at the game today, who was on Finn Faithful from Jason Sarney to Frank the Tank, so am I obtuse about this? Or am I about the fact that you, Bobby, the two are realists? Me and Bobby, me and Sammy were more the two-anons than you ever been. Did Tua look pathetic today when he was given the chance to make decisions with the ball? Was he not awful? Was he not god awful?
I talked about it at the beginning. Like I said, I thought, as much they could not have had a better drive. They could not have a better first quarter. It was a great first half for the Miami Dolphins, but when they got away from the running game and every time they put the ball into his hands, you would get nervous. There's no doubt. But the problem with you is that it's paralysis of analysis on every single play. You need to look at the big picture, bro. The Dolphins are 6-7. You just be happy.
By the way, I was the most positive. By the way, who here called the biggest? I guess Daniel didn't watch the game, but
the pregame.
Pregame. But who here, Daniel? I guess you didn't watch pregame. Who said would have the biggest win separation here today? You called the loss. Sammy called the 3-point win. Who called the bigger
I
win?
called the loss because I didn't want to hear 6-7. Okay, I didn't want to hear it. That's all I'm hearing now. I got to live with it. I got to listen to the
Fins up, Dolphins, Sam. The Dolphins are 6-7.
You know what I mean? That's
6-7.
all right. So that's what I got to put it. But that's why I put it for loss. I wanted to sacrifice a Dolphins win, so I didn't have to hear that. But we got it. And
okay,
you know what? Again,
Bobby, I guess I'm the only one in all of Dolphins fandom that analyzes every play and rips to. I guess he doesn't watch Greg Mady. He doesn't watch Steve Malloy. He doesn't watch Brett Lagasse. He doesn't watch Sammy. He definitely does. He doesn't watch you. He basically just has it out for me.
My thing is, this is breaking news.
It must be because I'm Canadian.
No, this is breaking news because you just said. No, hold on. I'm sorry. Here, I got it. Breaking news here on the Fins Talk postgame show. I don't want to hear about any of this other stuff. I don't have to tell anybody what someone says or what they believe. Live on air, Evan said, give McDaniel another chance. Give him another year.
Without Tua,
but still, give him another year. Did anybody, any one of you, ever thought you'd hear it? Sammy?
Okay. May I replicate? What did you say, Evan? You want to give what?
I will give Mike McDaniel another chance.
Now the one who's dying?
Tua, because I feel that Tua...
If he comes back, has to be without Tua.
No, I said that. I said that. If McDaniel comes back, I could see the craziness that Evan brought up weeks ago about a situation where, we need to let go. We need to just break free and move on.
I don't think Mike McDaniel will do it.
It goes against any rationale when you're practical about it, the money, everything. But that's what makes it so conflicted. That's why we were at odds weeks ago. Because one thing is that we may agree that's the best option. How to implement it without basically screwing everything. They're trying to be proper here.
It's official.
That's the problem. If
it's
we
official.
could, if there was no cap, Steven Ross will throw everybody up, but we would do it. But that's the problem. I still think
I just never thought I'd see the day.
It's a huge problem.
I never thought I'd see the day that Evan would say that. So I don't want to hear anybody's critic of Evan.
It's his glasses game. It was the glasses game.
Is that what sold it?
If the question is who's the bigger problem right now, Mike McDaniel or Tua? Tua's the bigger problem for sure. Who should come back? Mike McDaniel, Tua? McDaniel right now should come back over Tua because Tua physically looks like he's done. Unless he miraculously come back next year. Do you go? I've been hold to say this. Do you remember during the offseason how much Tua was criticized about not training enough and partying in the boat and not taking care of himself? Right now, I don't know what to believe. Did he not take care of himself during the offseason, or the regression is something physical after 2 games he missed to end the season on the hip? I don't know. But the product on the field is like Tua looks like like physically, he's done. If he comes back with another team or whatever, he should become a player of the year because I don't know how you come back from this because the drop off is monumental. I don't know. So right now, Mike McDaniel has better odds to come back. I don't know how they will do it, but that's the right.
So you know who has to. By the way, let me just say Tua's regression, a lot of it has to do with his own vanity, I find. Like, I feel like he thinks he's better than what he is. My problem I have, and this is all seriousness to you, everyone watching, and Mike McDaniel's biggest problem right now is he's not, even if Tua gives him the best chance to win physically on the field, because you can see what happens when Tyrod Taylor comes out and you see a rookie quarterback come in. I understand that. But that doesn't mean you need to make Tua at any point in the football game the focal point of your offense. Tua needs to be Trent Dilfer. He needs to be Rex Grossman. Okay?
Or Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning,
The Broncos, Broncos,
Okay?
Broncos Manning.
That's how he needs to be treated. In spite of Tua, you win football games. That's what you do to get through this season. Because if you force Tua to do what you... But by the way, that's a Mike McDaniel decision. So remember, as bad and as inept as Tua has been, and trust me, he looked great in the first quarter because he was used the way he was supposed to be used. When people are wide open to a spot because of because to run RPO, the moment it went away from RPO, that's when they struggled. And that's my problem, is that Mike McDaniel, that's my number one criticism right now for the rest of the year. Is he going to utilize Tua the way that gives him the best chance to win? Or is he going to use Tua because he's going to outsmart himself and say that because we're using the run game so much, the defense isn't going to expect these throws? The problem is Tua does not have the arm strength to make these throws. If you notice, Bobby, the level of effort that he used to throw those balls on the slant, the one that almost got intercepted in the end zone, backwards pass, the other one that almost caused the interception, there was nothing on the throw. The one to Waddle, there was nothing on the throw. He sailed the ball over Darren Waller. So for my problem right now with Tua, is Tua could be a good game manager. I don't care about the salary anymore. I don't care about any of that anymore. I care about the fact that if we want to see our Dolphins go into Pittsburgh, because you saw today in the New Orleans game, the New Orleans Saints crushed everybody's hearts in Survivor, killed them all. I invested money, this and that, and it's because of the Baker Mayfield crapping the bed. They're trying to think he's better than who he thinks he is. Instead of using the run game, with Bucky Irving today, they tried to force something today, and it didn't work. Anyone who gets away from the play call or whatever's obvious, Sammy, in a particular game, yes, you need explosive plays, but you know what happened when Joe Burrow today, who was such a phenomenal quarterback, tried to force balls today? A pick six and an interception in a row. 2 in a row, because he tried to freaking win the football game with his arm in a snow game. That's the problem, is you need your explosive plays, but only up to a point.
Muted.
Do you have dial-up at your home? Because I heard some. I'm like,
that was Mega Godzilla. My son played his Godzilla toy. I thought he laid gas. I was like, dude, what are you doing? He's like,
it reminded me when probably before your time when we had dial-up internet.
Yeah. No, I remember dial-up.
What the? Oh, sorry.
Guys, has this been happening?
You're right,
or has this been happening, or today did it not happen for 2 quarters, Bobby? Bobby, if the Dolphins played the first 2 quarters, for the second and third quarter, the way if they would have played the first and fourth quarter the way they played the second and third, what would have happened today?
We would have bigger win, man.
No. If we would have played the way we played in the second and third quarter, in the first and the fourth, the reverse, what would have happened?
Oh,
because he's saying haven't paid attention the last 6 weeks.
We lose the game because that's the opposite. Because you basically and we lose the game at the end.
Why were the games so close against the Saints and the Commanders? Because Tua was more involved in the game than he should have been. It's clear as day. And I want Tua to succeed, but he's not that guy anymore. I can't live in the clouds anymore on the fact that I was ecstatic that they won today. I was cheering, I was clapping, I was happy. And then all of a sudden I go, it's 21-0, and it should now be 35-0. But because they decided to throw the ball 3 times and slants in the goal line and all this nonsense, I go, what are we doing exactly? This game should never have gotten to a potential chance for them to be only down by a touchdown or two. They should have been a 4 or 5 touchdown win today. They could have put a 40 burger on this team by the half.
I think one thing that doesn't go unnoticed, and I don't really know how much of an impact he's having, but I will say the Dolphins they're 4-0, right? 4-0 since Chris Greer has been let go as general manager.
Jalen Phillips.
That trade too. The Jalen Phillips trade. And again, I know, come on. You have to look. And I will say, I'm looking at the victory speech. So I was looking at that very quick. I saw it where McDaniel in the locker room, and I don't hear what he's saying, but who's standing right next to him? Who's hyping him up? Who's hyped there going, like he's a part of it? Champ Kelly. So just something to think about. We're talking about Mike McDaniel possibly remaining as head coach, and Evan saying, hey, bring me Mike McDaniel over Tua every day for next year. You heard it here first. Evan is back on the McDaniel train, baby. It's on. No more McDummy.
You want to hear a great stat today? This is the proof of why they played well. Remember how we've said, oh my God, Jordan Brooks, 20 tackles, 18 tackles, 17 tackles, 16 tackles, 5. Jack Sealer, we had 6 sacks today. They didn't get past our line today. The linebackers didn't have to do much today. When you brought in the safeties like Ashton Davis, it worked really well. But the defensive line was great today. When they finally start doing the right things, Rasul Douglas, Jack Jones, they were great today. Malafanu, Mika Fitzpatrick, it's Terrell Dotson. They all did their jobs in the right spots today. But by the way, can you imagine if Rasul Douglas wouldn't have said no all those times and we would have given him a little bit more? He's been great. Rasul Douglas has been all the money he's been worth. So for me today, the biggest takeaway of today's football game is that the only person who's going to cost, there's only 2 people that can cost us football games: Greg Ackerman and Tua Tagovailoa. That's it. Those are our 2 biggest problems.
And I will say
the special teams is awful today.
I will say, who was it earlier? Christian Leap about Greg. How do you say his last name? The tight end, Greg Dulcich. Absolutely had himself a really good game. It was cool to see some positive plays by the tight end position, other than Darren Waller. Miss Finn's in the house. Let's see.
I don't, Bobby. You can admit that I'm consistent about what I do say. I don't flip flop. As hard as I've been on McDaniel, what I wrote today was Mike McDaniel needs Tua gone. The problem is I don't think Mike McDaniel wants Tua gone. That's my biggest problem. Mike McDaniel should have a chance to prove himself without Tua. I don't know if he'll get that chance because he won't let it happen. He might stick with Tua till the death. He might fall on his own coaching sword for Tua Tagovailoa. Because if Stephen Ross says to you, "What do you need?" or Champ Kelly or someone else comes in, let's say someone else, they hire a new general manager, guys, and they say, "We're going to cut Tua Tagovailoa." Mike McDaniel will say, "No, he's my quarterback." Mike McDaniel may say, "I want him still as my quarterback. I think he gives me the best chance to win." What other quarterback are you going to find me in the league this year? Who can you go get? You think you're going to go get me Gardner Minshew? You think you're going to go get me this guy? You think you're going to go get me this guy? That's my problem. Is that I think that Mike McDaniel is so tied to Tua. That's my concern. Is that he's held on to his relationship with Tua for so long, and what makes it evident to me is the way he utilizes Tua in the game. Because the first and fourth quarter, Tua was the great game manager he should be. In the second and third quarter, he forgot. And by the way, why is it when Zach Wilson comes in, I understand the game's out of hand, and against his home team, you have nothing to lose. Why isn't he let Zach Wilson throw one ball downfield? No, let's just run the ball.
Because he knows what you're going to say, and he doesn't want to hear any more from it. So he doesn't want to put Zach, because you're going to go, why would you put Zach Wilson in that situation? Why is he throwing? Just run the ball, run the clock. Come on, Evan, we know what you're going to do.
He did the right thing.
But I'm going to tell you again, and the 2 things. First off, Tua is this quarterback right now. You can't be a one trick pony on offense. You have to, balance it out. Hey, yes, you got to be a run first football team and a majority of the run game, because that's where the talent is. That's the bread and butter of this offense right now. You have to do it. Your weakness is at the quarterback position. He is regressed. You can't rely on him to win you the football game. or to lead your football team. However, you can't just say, "Oh, let's just completely take the ball out of Tua's hands." You got to diversify the playbook so that way it does the opposing defense just go, "Oh, they're just going to keep running it." So I can understand McDaniel saying, "Okay, let's do a couple let's maybe trick them." I think it's more about not McDaniel saying, "I believe in Tua, I'm going to force Tua down people's throats." I think it's more about maybe McDaniel outsmarting himself and saying, "Hey, run. Now let's do this. Instead of doing like a quick pass to get that first down, let's do a 15-yard, 20-yard out. Oh, crap, it's a floater. Almost an interception. I think that's where it's coming to play. I do really believe that no matter how this wraps up this season, if it's with McDaniel as head coach, Champ Kelly as GM, McDaniel as head coach, a new GM, new head coach, whatever, I think the days of Tua as the unquestioned starter are over. I think it's done. I think the day Greer was fired, not saying that Greer was the one locked in on Tua. Maybe not. I'm not saying he is. But I think when that happened, that allowed something for McDaniel to say, "Hey, this is the new GM's call. We're going to make this change." McDaniel's probably going to say, "Hey, you know what? You saw what I could do in spite of the fall, the flaws of Tua, what we could do as a team. If I could find myself a legitimate guy, I think we could do a lot better." Ross is going to say, "Okay, let's do it." Now, does that mean they're going to trade Tua? I don't know. Again, it doesn't make sense financially. I think that kills you. I think you could go into next season as Tua as a backup or competing for the starting spot. But I do believe that legitimately Miami will be in the market for a QB, whether that is via trade, free agency, or the draft. And you saw today that Miami could win. Imagine if they had someone who was, not regressed, a starting caliber quarterback, a guy who could air it out, whatever. Imagine what they could have done. They did this today with Tua as their starting guy, with the running game the way it was. I could see it. And I think that will be the case. I don't think McDaniel's doing it because he's forcing the pay, for Tua to succeed. I think everybody knows, whether you love or hate him, I think everybody knows who Tua is right now. Whether, you thought he's great or still good or whatever, I think everybody understands, like, hey, there has to be a change. Something has to go. Because if you see what he is now, imagine what he'll be next season. It's not going to get any better. It's just what it is. And, for at least one season, he could be a $50 million bench warmer if he loses out to another guy. But maybe that pushes him. Maybe, look, we saw what McDaniel did for Tua for 2 seasons. Tua lit up. Tua all of a sudden was in the conversation at one point during the season as an MVP caliber player. He's playing great football for those 2 seasons for a few weeks. Who's to say that if you get a legitimate guy in here, all of a sudden Tua, starts playing better than what he's been the last 2 seasons now. So I don't think it's about him forcing it. I think it's just the option he has, diversifying the playbook, and he's outsmarting himself. I think when the offseason comes, I do not doubt we're going to see Miami in the market for some quarterback to move on from Tua, with or without Mike McDaniel. And it's not about having or wanting, and not say that's what you're saying, or the way you're saying it, but everybody wants a Hall of Fame quarterback, or great, league quarterback. That's very rare and far between. You could draft an unbelievable quarterback and never win a Super Bowl. But that doesn't mean that the next guy Miami gets is going to be, the next big thing. But maybe it makes you win a playoff game. Maybe your team's winning more games. Maybe you're not relying on just one facet of your offense. It's just what it is. Tua's fine. Just keep running the ball. Tua's fine for right now because you either have Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers. I'm not hating on either one, especially Quinn. I don't know what we have on him, but he's fine right now. But he's not fine for the future. By the end of the season, Miami needs to be in the market for a quarterback. And I know the question's going to come. Well, who would you rather get? Who are you going to get? Who's replacing Tua? Anybody. Just go. You find a guy. Whoever's going to be available, you go and see him. And if you think this guy could lead your offense, if he's a starting caliber player, if he could push Tua, you get him. At the end of the season, we'll make a list. But I don't think there's any doubt, no matter how you feel about Tua, that Miami needs to make a change. Miami needs to make a change. Other than that, I'll say I've been very impressed with the way the Miami Dolphins as a whole has been playing the last 4 weeks. After the fire of Greer, it was like, that's it. It's done. That's it. It's over. Time to let him go. Time to end this. And Miami, for everything they had, everything against them, they did. Now it wasn't. There's not a lot. There's some wins, like Evan will point out. Hey man, this issue. We all will. That's what we do. You have to, because those issues could bite you in the ass later. You could go game by game. You could be excited and celebrate every win, which we're going to do. But a lot of the issues that Evan brings up, I bring up, whatever. That's because, guess what? Down the line, that could cost you. A bad play call could cost you. Relying on Tua 60-70% of the offensive time is going to cost you down the line. So, but I will say, as a whole, I'm very happy about this football team, because what I see the silver lining is, even though I still think playoffs are way out there, they're like way, they're not even, I'm not even looking at that. I'm just looking game by game. I see the silver lining. I say, man, this is the formula Miami needs to build upon. Devon Achane, that running game, Jalen Wright, what he was able to do today. Like those are the guys. And we said it before the show too. We said it on the pregame show. You brought up Jalen Waddle. He had himself an impactful game. As Sammy said, he had a 20-yard rush, 5 catches, 50 yards, a touchdown. But again, I will not be surprised if Miami considers or picks up the phone to be in on a trade for possibly Waddle if it's offered to them. And maybe that is what they need. Maybe they do that in order to get the assets to possibly move up. I'm not saying Mendoza is not going to be great. Not saying that at all, Sea Devil. I do like Mendoza a lot. So, but I'm just saying, just because you get a guy real high or get a guy who could be great doesn't guarantee anything, but guarantees that you got yourself a reliable quarterback, which right now Miami does not. Some Miami-Dade car salesman has a better arm. Look at DSG. Not Kyler Murray. He's so much worse. Tua is not fine. Arizona isn't trading for Tua anyway. Who said Tua? Did I say Arizona? I didn't say Arizona. Maybe somebody in the comments. How did the Dolphins get to 6 and 7? We need to draft a quarterback high, but Tua could still win if we keep the defense. Absolutely, Doug. That's fair. That's fair, right? Yes, the defense doing their. I know, bro. It's all good, C Devil. The defense continuing to do their job, playing well. Anthony Weaver is going to be in that conversation for potential head coach somewhere. Micah Fitzpatrick stepping up, 3 interceptions, a forced fumble today. The running game led by Devon Achane, but you saw even when he went out, those 2 other guys stepped up. That's very how do you call this?
Serendipitous?
No. It's like a sign. It's something good. I'm losing the word right now. It's a positive sign to see from your running game. So yes, Miami could win with Tua at quarterback if they continue leading their offense through the run game and playing great defense, and then limiting Tua to short, immediate passes and hoping his weapons make the best out of it. Sorry. I'm blowing bubbles, dog. I swear to God. I'm going to get crazy. I'm trying to make everybody and then he's smacking his belly next to me, doing some random thing over there. Enough already with Mendoza. I just brought up Mendoza. Who's my goodness. Daniel, you're not happy. Daniel's Finstanza in the comments right now. You're not happy about anything, Daniel. Come on. No, Evan. Wait. It's what you're. I'm not saying you're not happy now. Stop.
Don't
No,
wake up the beast, Bobby. Don't wake up the beast.
Wait a second.
Easy.
Oh my gosh, the rest of our yes, and that's why they're 6-7, Daniel. That is what they're doing. That's the point. But if they stray away from that, like we saw today, don't tell me you didn't watch that game and saw that every time they went, especially in the second half, when they went away from running and they were, oh, let's throw it. That you didn't, there was times where you go, holy crap, what was that? What was that throw? Lead with the running game. Lead with the running game. Keep it short and immediate with Tua as the quarterback. Dale Grade says, I give the running game to McDaniel. It reminds me of the old Broncos where you could just plug running backs in and still have success, not to take away from Achan's elite status. I 100% get it, Doug. I like it. B. McD. Mendoza's new nickname is Cuban Tua. Oh, come on. Just 5 inches taller, bigger arm, a little more spunk in the press conference or the after game interviews. But yeah, no. But there's so many options. I just want to say, too, in regards to the draft, yes, Mendoza's going to be up there. Titans are not going number 1. I don't think they're going for a quarterback. But, yes, he does have a strong arm than Tua. I know. I don't think Cuban Tua is a good name, but it's funny either way. But again, there's so many other options in the draft, but we're not there yet. Miami's still very much alive, which is awesome. Again, if sticking with that defense, that running game, that's a silver lining. Again, no matter what happens, you look at that part right there. You look at what Achan has done. You hope Miami extends them. You look at what they're doing with the running game. You hope McDaniel goes, holy crap, I could really run a balanced offense. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. Once my gosh, what is somebody watching NASCAR? Who's speeding? Whose house is that? It's like, my gosh. Daniel says, I'm happy about our football, about our football team. They have won 5 out of 6, but I'm sick and tired of negative Dolphin fans. I hear you, brother. Let's see. Sea Devil, other options. I'm not talking about just quarterbacks. If Miami has a top 10 pick, which is not likely, right? If they continue doing what they're doing, which is fine. But again, there are other players available other than quarterback that you could get in that draft. I mean, again, I don't, if Mendoza's not there, one of the offensive tackles replacing Austin Jackson, one of the edge rushers, one of the corners, the safeties. There's a lot of good weapons in the draft, a lot of good players in the draft that you could get. Tyreek is definitely gone this offseason, right? Evan, is Tyreek definitely gone? Yeah.
At this point, yes. At this point, yeah. This was when it was a pass-first offense. The only way Tyreek doesn't come back, the only way Tyreek comes back is if Mike McDaniel's back, Tua's back, and Tyreek is willing to take a massive pay cut and renegotiate his contract. So I'm not sure why he would do that.
There you go. Definitely. Let's see if they're within striking distance, they have to get. Now again, with Tennessee being the number 1 pick, and if Miami was to make a move, whether that's trading Tyreek or Waddle and getting a couple draft picks, pairing a couple picks and moving up, I think you're right. If they're within that distance, they could be looking at that. We should be looking at Sadiq or Carnell Lake. There's some good names by Daniel throwing out there for Miami. Let's see here. I would be sure, Doug. Our Orange Oracle said he'd be back. Wow. But
man.
anywho. But yeah, there you go, guys. Hey, look, Miami Dolphins 6-7 on the season. As we know, as Tristan says, let me get that video back up there for a second.
Fins up, Dolphins, Sam. The Dolphins are 6-7.
If I got to see that in life, you guys have to keep seeing it on this thing here until they're no longer. Okay. I mean, he waited all season for that, especially when he saw they had 7 losses. He's like, can you imagine they go 6-7? And they did. So DSG says legend. He is. Tristan is a legend. He is for sure. My boy, pride
the
and joy.
best thing I ever heard. I'm a legend.
Yeah, you're a legend there. Yeah. He's there. He's listening. He can hear me. He's there. He don't hear
Can
you
I
guys.
ask you guys an overall question, an NFL question that ties into Tua's performance today?
Sure.
It wasn't just Tua. This quarterback game, this Sunday's quarterback, it was rough. There's like a lot of games where you watch and go, oh crap, quarterback's making mistakes. Lamar Jackson didn't look great today. Aaron Rodgers had his moments, but he wasn't great. Baker Mayfield, not great. Tyler Shaw, not great. But like you look at these quarterbacks in the NFL, Daniel Jones, after he got hurt, that was a bit of a mess. But like the quarterback overall play right now, like as bad as the Dolphins have been, trust me, there's more clamoring and more nervous energy right now. Zach Taylor's probably going to be gone. Baltimore right now, like you're 6-7 with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and you had all this fantasy. Like no one wants to win the AFC North. Like no one wants to win that division. I haven't checked the game of the Chiefs game today, just yet. But overall, there's struggles everywhere. There's literally struggles across the NFL.
No, you brought that up before the show. So you're
quarterback position. The stats are not going to be. Look at Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been S this year. Like there's some real good teams like Matthew Stafford really have built a great team. Like you see what's happening with Drake May, etc. But overall, it's just right now the overall play. That's why I'm proud of the win today overall because, hey, no one thought that New Orleans. We beat New Orleans, right? And it was close in the end because we didn't play well towards the end. But they went into Tampa and beat them. Tennessee. I don't know what. I think Kevin Stefanski. Why on a 2-point conversion is Shedeur Sanders not on the field after the game Shedeur had today? There's some real head scratchers with everybody, and the NFL is a weird game. Any team could beat anybody today. Bobby, didn't you have the prediction today that you wanted your friends to have the Titans win?
Yeah.
Browns lost today in Tennessee.
Yep.
So
it was again today did not help my Fins TV pick.
I'm awful.
I'm pissed right now. I'm livid. Like I'm gonna call the one who's running. I'm gonna get in touch with the one who runs that and protest. Oh wait, he's right here. Did he back himself out? That's awesome, dude.
But no, overall today, what did you think though of the? I got to give credit, by the way. As much as we don't want to rip them, every game consistent. They don't cause any problems. Riley, we don't give them any flowers because they're just Riley Patterson and Jake Bailey. Zero problems with it. Riley Patterson kicked it before this season. He had never made a 53-yarder. Like I said, a 50-yarder plus. And this year, Riley Patterson has been great for a kicker that came out of nowhere, fought for the job. No Jason Sanders. I'm sure Jason Sanders can even be back by now. Who knows? But I will tell you this: the offense is built around the running game because your offensive line is a running-based attack. Go watch how they played in college. They were not pass protectors. They were run protect. They were second. This was zone running, and if you don't do that as your main weapon, then, by the way, you want Tua to be your quarterback and to be successful next season, then you basically have to completely change your offensive line. Because your offensive line, you can't keep Austin Jackson, can't keep Aaron Brewer, can't keep Jonas Savaiinaia. Why? Because these guys are not pass protected. And what was proof? Tua got walloped on his first throwing touchdown because the overall line doesn't handle pass protection that well.
Why does Sammy look like he's working on an Einstein equation?
Because he's preparing for Fins TV on Tuesday night.
Yeah, he's always
He
working.
does that on every show. He comes on Fins Faithful, he never stares at the screen unless it's his turn to talk. He doesn't give you your full attention. If I told him to repeat what I just said, he probably didn't hear what a word I just said. Who did I just compliment, Sammy? Who did I just compliment? Who did I just throw flowers at?
He's on mute, but can you hear that? I heard it. He's on mute, but I heard what the hell he said.
Who did I just throw flowers at? By the way, is that a Panera Bread green tea? Those things, isn't that the best?
It's really
They
good.
make the best green tea ever.
It is. Tati asked me after we got out of the church. She's like, "You want Panera Bread?" And I was like, "All right."
What's your go-to sandwich?
I don't like the sandwiches. I get the.
You pick two.
I get the no. I get
Broccoli
the
cheddar
salad.
soup.
No,
Oh.
huh? No,
Broccoli
she got
cheddar
soup.
soup is amazing.
I got soup. No, she got soup. I got the Caesar salad with chicken with avocado.
The broccoli cheddar soup there is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what type of soup she got, but she has to. On Tuesday, she's having a little thing, and so she has to have to clear out everything. So she's eating light. But
See, he can't answer my question. Wow, I give him my full attention.
he's muted, and I think he didn't want no one to hear exactly what he wanted to say.
I'm watching the replay to see who he stands out.
That's really good. That's really good. He goes, I know what you said. Hold on a second. You said, it's like, now I know. Now I know.
Drake May, that 4 more seconds later.
No, I was talking about Riley Patterson and
Riley Patterson,
and
yes.
Jake Bailey. They've been great. They've been absolutely great.
Actually, I heard that.
By the way, guys.
I did hear that.
Oh, did you? Guys.
Yeah, I swear I did. Just got nervous.
How embarrassing. I understand the NFL crowds at some of these teams, Bobby, it's embarrassing. For a team that only plays 8 home games a year max, to watch how empty these stadiums are. People have bought most of these tickets, right? People don't let these tickets do not sit in Ticketmaster for as available. They're all verified ticket resale tickets and all this. How empty was that stadium today? It was like you heard more Dolphins when the Dolphins scored. You heard more cheering than when the Jets did anything. I didn't see many Jets fans in the stadium today, and they were gone by the third quarter.
I find it always funny when I say, you gotta say Steven Ross when it hurts and not go to the games. Those games are already sold. So
already paid for you.
How are you gonna hurt him?
It's only the merchandise. It's merchandise sales.
Or walking away.
Okay, so I've added a caveat to this. How many yards does Devon Achane have in rushing so far, Bobby? Can you check the latest?
For his the season?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll pull it up quick.
I'm gonna make DSG very happy. How many rushing yards does he have?
Devon Achane right now is at
11 what?
Yeah, 11-26, 7 touchdowns.
If he surpasses 1,500 yards, I'll buy the Achane jersey. Live on air.
There you go. 1,500 live on air.
Because I don't think McDaniel's getting fired. And by the way, I would, if I'm Mike McDaniel, I go to Stephen Ross. If this season falls on its face and I'm getting the chance to come back, and you have the ability to cut Tua, because I honestly, guys, we're not talking about this in general. You don't want Tua as your quarterback. Of the two of you, who here believes that Tua can be the quarterback of this team next year for them to have any chance to improve? Can they be better next year with Tua as the quarterback? What's the ceiling of wins with Tua? Fresh season, next year, new general manager, new players. Tua still your quarterback, Mike McDaniel is your head coach. What's the ceiling? 10? Maybe?
Maybe.
Wild card. Edge, fringe wild card. That's not the end. That's not what we want, right? We're happy that they got to the dance today, but Miami's not happy with, I'm sure, their performance at the end of the year, the Hurricanes. So they didn't play in a big game or anything like that. So for me, we just want to see growth. Right now, the NFL is up for the taking. You can get good fast in this league, and if you stick with Jonathan Gannon must know in Arizona, for example, Bobby, that he's getting another shot next year, and he can go pick another quarterback or go get something if he's done with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray still has a contract. You can't just cut. They're going to have to cut him as a captain, I'm sure. He will not be on the roster next year. They're going to eat it. So, by the way, don't you think Calais Campbell will be having more fun in Miami now than he is in Arizona?
Wasn't he hurt today?
I don't know. Is Calais Campbell hurt?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't watch players from other teams. I just focus on ours. This was this. I don't care about senior citizens. I just.
At any point, was there a sense that the Dolphins? Was there any sense that the Dolphins might blow it, or or make this more difficult than what it was when Tua started throwing the ball along the goal line? Like, were you guys both saying, "What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? Stop! Stop!"
Today, Frank the Tank said that he never at any point he wasn't worried. I'll tell you what, when Tua threw that lateral and that almost pick six,
Jalen White, yeah, that right there. I knew at that point I was like, good thing it was called, but yeah,
if they had anyone else as a quarterback,
that's how I felt. If they had a decent quarterback, I probably would have been a little concerned, but our defense was playing too good for me to be too worried about.
Zach Sealer gotten better every game.
2.5 sacks today, right?
Yeah, Bradley Chubb did his job. Chop Robinson did
Bradley
his job.
Chubb has been I've been very happy with Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, congratulations to Bradley Chubb, our nominee for
Man of the Year.
Man of the Year. Good for him.
Hell yeah.
For a guy that people thought they want to trade it, one and die, he's not going to be back next year. I think he likes it in Miami.
He loves it. He loves it. And I'm happy with him. If we could figure out a deal to keep him in Miami, I'm okay with that. I really am.
When you guys came off the field, did you happen to realize Zeke Biggers and Benito Jones, these guys are gargantuan. Like Zeke Biggers looks like monsters. Zeke Biggers looked like he ate to him. The man's ginormous. Like Benito Jones, like when they're running and think, oh my god, they get C5 like they're big boys, these guys.
That's hilarious. Talk about monsters. I'm gonna watch that new episode of Welcome to Derry. Yeah, I gotta watch that new show. That's Pennywise, the dancing clown.
Yeah.
HBO. It's sick. It's a sick.
By the way, how sick is that?
Welcome to what?
Welcome to Derry. That's what it's called.
By the way, Warner Brothers being purchased by.
That's right. Yeah, that's why I love it, bro. Coat the throat, brother. You know.
But Warner Brothers being purchased by Netflix. That's a big news.
I know. That's huge.
Well,
Let's see here.
That's interesting. But no, overall, guys, did anyone give us any help today? Was there any help given to us today from the results?
I don't know. Let me see here. I was going to text you.
Right now, Texans are 10-0. Can you imagine if someone would have told you right now? I know it's not the standings we want, but if someone would have told you right now that after 13 games that we would potentially have the same record as the Chiefs and the Ravens, would you have taken it?
Right?
Like if someone would have told you, Sammy, at the beginning of the season, after 13 games. After 13 games, you'd have the same record as the Ravens and the Chiefs. What do you think the record would be for the Chiefs and the Ravens?
I will say 8. I would probably say 8-5.
Really?
Yeah. But there's a better chance than 6 and 7.
I know. Isn't that crazy? So where are we right now in the playoffs? Are we still in 10th? We're still in 11th.
11th.
We haven't moved. We'll be tied for 9th. Actually, no, because we don't have the tiebreaker. But yeah, we're still in 11th. 2 games separated from the Bengals, but we still have a lot to cover.
DSG, well, Evan's looking that up. The new Dracula. Are you what Dracula are you talking about? Because there's a on Instagram. I always see it on Instagram. I don't see it anywhere else. But when I'm, I don't usually do Instagram, but when I am on it, there's this Dracula movie that looks like it's kind of similar to the one with Gary Oldman, the old Dracula that goes through his life. Is that what you're talking about? And where the heck did you watch it? I haven't seen the new Frankenstein yet, but that Dracula movie, I didn't know anything about it until I saw some of the clips from the movie, and I was like, that's intriguing. I love the classic monsters. But anyway, if you could let me know where you saw it. Is that okay? So it must be that, because I know obviously in the story where Gary Oldman's Dracula is that his love dies and he turns against God, and so he gets cursed, and he lives through all the years, and then he's that old monster and he's trying to find her. Is that what that is? It looks very similar. Is that what that's following? It just because I see that there's different times. It shows them in different time periods, so it looked very intriguing to me, and I wanted to go try to find it. Dracula, a love story. Dracula, a love tale. So you guys know where it is, but where is it? What app is it on? What channel? So I could find it and note it. I'd appreciate it if you don't mind. That was Alex messaging me for. No, I haven't seen Nosferatu yet. That's on Prime. No, that's not on Prime. That's on Peacock. That's on Peacock. I know that. I want to see that. Okay. So,
by the way, you want to hear a bold prediction?
Sure.
The Indianapolis Colts finish 8-9.
Wow.
Which I called 2 weeks ago. Go roll the tape. Last week I said they're gonna struggle. They got the Seahawks. They're going to Seattle next week without Daniel Jones, who has a torn Achilles. Then they have the 49ers. Then they have the Jags. Then they have the Texans. That's intense. The problem is for the Dolphins right now, and we're just going to enjoy one game at a time. Every team that we have to climb over has to play them each other. So like they literally, and look at the Texans. The Texans have the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the Chargers. Like they literally need like another 7. Like they need like it's like almost as if like all the other teams just have easier schedules. The only thing is that what we saw today was that if we get through the Chargers, the Bengals maybe just have nothing to play for, but it's still Joe Burrow. Baker Mayfield is beatable, but they're going to be playing for a division against Carolina, and the Patriots may have nothing to play for. The problem is that the next 2 weeks you're playing 2 AFC North opponents who still have a lot to play for. That's the problem.
100%.
Is they're not playing like they're not laying the carpet down. They're playing 2 very difficult teams who still like who knows? You could still win the division of the AFC North at 8-9. How pathetic would that be? The Dolphins finish 9-8, and then someone in the division wins at 8-9. It's frustrating.
Well,
I hate that.
a division with the Bengals, with the Ravens, and with the Steelers, that nobody would have taken that bet.
No.
No.
Some of these records are crazy.
But
the Colts may never see a win again.
That's tough.
If I had a choice right now, the Dolphins going 4-0 or the Colts losing 0, or the Colts going 0-4, I think it's more likely the Colts are going to go 0-4. They just have nothing left. Who's the starter? Because I think Anthony Richardson's still injured. Because Anthony Richardson didn't come into the game. It was someone Leonard came into the game.
I appreciate you guys, man. Telling me. So it's Dracula Love Story. I will look it up. I'm gonna try to find it. Now at least I know the name because I put Dracula, I couldn't find it. So now I know at least because I know it's a love story the way I saw it, but it looked interesting. So sorry to Sammy and Evan who are like, dude, stop talking about movies. But that's what I do. I know this is not East 10th Street Boys,
okay.
you know. But yeah, if you guys love good scary stuff, I mean, I really do. Welcome to Derry has been a really good show, and then of course, was it Landman is back, and Landman has been amazing. I don't know. Did you see yesterday's episode?
I watch every episode by 8 a.m. the moment it comes out.
I'm the same way. Todd and I are like, oh, it's on, bam, done. You know, and it was really good. And I just love that they have oh my gosh, who's it? Sam Elliott
is so good.
Oh, dude, he's the dad. Like, come on, dude.
But by the way, I love Dale because Dale's in every single Taylor Sheridan show.
He is. He's always.
He was in 1923. He was in Yellowstone. He's in Lioness. He's everywhere.
He is. But I just love the whole cast. I really enjoy the whole cast.
Billy Bob Thornton is something else. Like,
they already renewed season 3, so I'm excited.
And Tulsa King.
King's right.
And Nola King's coming.
Yes, yeah. I saw Samuel Jackson. I'm excited about that. But,
and 4 Sixes is coming. The Yellowstone spinoffs are all coming. Everything's great.
Yeah, you're Tyler Sheridan, guys. There's another show though, very quick. Before we wrap it up, now that's on my mind. Then a show I have to recommend if you like those type of shows, even though it's not a Taylor Sheridan show, is Mobland.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the accents.
I know, but I'll tell you. Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, you know, Pierce Brosnan's using his actual accent. Helen Mirren's very thick. You know, Tom Hardy. But I'll tell you, that show was really good.
Yeah, on Paramount. For Landman. But no, Mayor Kingstown's the one that's taking me a while to actually get.
That's the one I haven't got in. My Tati's in there. I'm not. Yeah, I haven't got into it yet. All right,
because there's a lot of seasons ahead, and I can't get into it.
Yeah, but yeah, if you have not got a chance to watch the Landman, do so. It's a great series, man. And Billy Bob Thornton's a freaking great actor. The whole cast is. I love the whole cast. I know a lot of people hate the wife. I don't. I love them all. Oh, dude, Andy Garcia's that guy for me. Who's like family? Like every time I see him as family, I'm like, it's Andy Garcia. I love anything Andy Garcia. He's so freaking good. You know who'd
be phenomenal in that show? Just as random. I'd love to just randomly see Joe Pesci. Like, because he was talking about Joe Pesci. I love Joe Pesci. Oh my god.
You're gonna strike the oil, and you're gonna do it right away. Like, damn, Joe. Okay, Joe, take it easy, Chiefs. No, it's so good. It's so good. And adding Andy Garcia, him and and Billy Bob Thornton's dynamic, their chemistry together, which is so because they're total opposites. They're total opposite guys, but when they're together, you feel that tension, you know. And my money is clean. It's like, oh damn. It's like, all right. You
By the
know?
way, the other
And
thing
Demi Moore,
Yeah.
this season here is just killer. She
Yeah.
is legit, dude. She's so freaking good. Sorry,
well
we've
done.
just totally branched out as
So
Sammy
well done.
is distracted
Okay.
looking at the. You
No,
know.
I'm actually. I heard Demi Moore. I heard something else. I'm here. What? Demi Moore?
You said Demi Moore? Hold on.
She's this week. This week.
Yeah, dude, she's really good, dude. Like, you know,
The
I
whole
love her.
concept.
I
The
just
whole
love
concept of Taylor Swift.
I-
no, but that one is, I think, probably if they stay with this dynamic, it's the best one. Because with the one with the Yellowstone, my issue first off, Yellowstone was great up to a point, and then it got tired very quickly.
Yeah, but when Kevin Costner left, that last season was a waste. But it did the spin-off.
It was, but even before then, it was like it was so like I'm not going to go too crazy into the series, but I will just say, like, when you think of like the kids, after a while, like, I understand y'all hate each other, but it's like, think about if they were all worked together, you know, like how powerful that family could have been in this show. Like, there was so many ways. To me, I think he got bored. He wanted to do other things. Costner didn't want to stay around. If they would have just worked it out, I think that would have been I don't know. I was a little disappointed.
Spin-offs. They're coming up with 3 spin-offs.
I know. There's one, I think, on CBS.
Yeah,
I
Marshall is
appreciate you,
coming.
PSG.
There's Marshall's. Then there's the one with the daughter, and then there's 4 Sixes ranch. The one in Texas is going to be really good.
Okay. All right. DSG, thank you, brother. I'll take a look at it, my man. I appreciate you. I'll check it out, see where I could pull it up and tune into it. Yeah, you know, that's cool. So we got some movie talk very quick, and you know, maybe we'll continue this conversation down the road. But until then, I want to thank everyone for joining us for tonight. The Dolphins are 6-7, so which is really cool to see. Got the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up, so we're happy now. Will we be happy later? We'll see. But until then, like, subscribe, and most importantly, Dolphin fans, as always, fins up. Peace.